Well, we're going to be expanded on this because the last day of the cruise, okay, we're going to have like about 8 hours in here, and we're going to go over a lot of stuff in detail. This is like a real rough overview, but it's pretty much, this is what they're teaching about next door. It's an entire system based on controlling symptoms, okay, and not looking at the source of it. You know, and it's based on an incorrect model. This is normal. Anything away from this is not. I mean, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, did they live in assisted living? No. And so we're taking something that's normal that's not. Now, we're doing a website that's going to be up probably about June. This website it's going to be the largest natural health website in the world. And it's going to be totally different. It's more interactive. We're going to have different doctors on different parts of the country that you're going to look up, and they're going to have a rating. And the rating is going to be whether they're really good, and I hate to say like holistic medical doctors, you know, they prescribe less drugs. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay, so when we look at this, there's going to be personal profiles, and this way you can type in you know, any information out, and it's going to be secured where only the doctors to direct it or to ask questions. You can put as much information or as little in your profile. We're going to have weekly on-track videos, and this is one of the things. We've got patients from all around the world that come to our facility, and when they leave, they think, man, I was all fired up, and about 3 weeks into it, I went back to my Diet Coke. And it was dude, so what we're going to have is a whole bunch of little tiny weekly update videos on it as well. So it's going to be really fun. This is going to be in it. Now, next door, it's kind of neat to have a scapegoat as good as the medical system. But when we look at it, it's always been where there's been a belief system about how the body works or how healthcare should be. And if you remember bloodletting, and bloodletting is really efficient for one type of disease, hematochromatosis, okay, where you're making too many red blood cells. The problem is the theory, and it started back with the Egyptians, that there was bad blood here, and if you drain it out, you know, the good blood would take over. And it was practiced for thousands of years. So can you imagine the 1700s? Oh yeah, we've been doing it for 3,000 years. This is the theory. And if somebody came along and said, no, this isn't true, this isn't how it's supposed to be, they were just, I mean, ostracized, kicked out. And it is what killed George Washington, but it killed a lot more people because you're talking, you're spreading infection, you're weakening the body immune system, you're cutting stuff that shouldn't be cut. Now, 1670, this guy's looking through these series of lenses that magnified water, and they found things called animalcules. And they were little tiny, and they would run around and move. And he had an idea that these little animalcules could cause dysentery, that could cause disease. And then he started to come up with this idea that perhaps there were these little animalcules inside of water in fetid swamps that if you drank, it would cause dysentery. And you're such an idiot. There's no way a little animalcule can harm a big man. Right. Okay. So it took a few hundred years for this to go in. Now this is important because if you think 1670, he comes in there, gets this idea, and he actually cultures some from stools from diseased people and finds similar animalcules. And so this germ theory came out that germs cause disease, and they really don't. Okay, it all has to do with a weakened immune system. But imagine here, Dr. Semmelweis, 1846. He's doing some research because, like, I like to read too, and he's looking back about 100 years before, 150 years before, and he's thinking, well, God, we're at this hospital, we got this childbed fever going on. And it might have to do with the interns that are doing autopsies, you know, underneath, and they're looking at bodies. Oh, there's a pregnant woman upstairs. So you run upstairs, give birth to the kid. And he said, you know, maybe these little animalcules are on your hands. So you need to wash your hands before you deliver a baby. I know. Hey, don't worry about it. He was put in an insane asylum, so it's cool. We don't want that crazy kind of shit going on here. But think of this. This was all considered fact, okay? Fact, and I mean just, you're insane to think that an animalcule could harm you. You're insane that this could do, and so it wasn't considered like normal. Now, in 1935, they're trying to think of theories on how the body works, and they came up with this homeostatic model. And this is the model that those guys next door are still using, okay, where everybody is supposed to have the same. You know, we're supposed to have the same blood pressure, we're supposed to have the same cholesterol rates, the same blood sugar rates. And this model was really cool because this way, if you didn't have those levels, they would give you a chemical to bring it down. Okay, and when I get life insurance, the doctors come to my office because I don't like going to them. And so, you know, I'm there from 5 in the morning. You know, they'll check me at 11. So 5 in the morning, I haven't had, you know, maybe a little bit of water, a couple of cups of coffee, adjusted, you know, we see about 100 and something people before lunch. And so, okay, sit down, take my blood pressure. Anybody guess what my blood pressure normally is after that? A little high, but it's supposed to be. Okay, and then, you know, every time consistently, I said, look, doc, give me 5 minutes, I'll just lower it. So I deep breathe, it gets down to what he thinks is acceptable. And I'll go, do you understand that this is like a foolish way to check someone? I mean, to lower blood pressure or to think that high blood pressure is bad or low blood pressure is good, that's foolishness. But this has been going on for, I mean, nearly 100 years, where if your physiology is off, you take a chemical to lower it, and then it, you know, you're supposed to be healthier. The problem is, nobody ever says, hey, if you take this antacid, you're going to live longer and healthier. You know, if you take this diuretic or beta blocker or ACE inhibitor, you're going to be so vital. You're going to live for friggin' ever. Okay, you're going to be preventing disease. No, because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And this is what I'll ask patients. I say, do you have a dog or a cat? You know, what was their blood pressure this morning? And they'll look at, no, you know, I'm not going to check the blood pressure of my bird. You know, they're an animal that's self-regulating. And what they're finding out now, I mean, not this group is completely ignorant. See, they've divided the body up into separate parts. But what they're finding out is that blood pressure changes depending on the need. And we're looking more at the pulse pressure, the difference between the high and the low. And we're going to talk a lot about this at the end of the cruise, but normally it should be around 40. And when I say should be, if you're dehydrated, if you went to the martini bar last night, if you worked out this morning, if you slept not too good, you know, because, you know, if the boat is a-rockin'. Wait, where's Jaya? So if the blood isn't healthy or efficient at transferring, at doing its job, then the pulse pressure is going to be higher. Because you figure the pump's got to go like this, like hard, in order to keep a static pressure. So if your blood isn't healthy or good at transferring oxygen, eliminating waste products, balancing the pH, then, you know, it's going to have to be higher. If it's shorter, it means the body's under stress. So heart attacks and strokes don't come from high blood pressure. That's insane. I mean, if that was the case, we should close the gym downstairs. Okay, because those poor, they're raising their blood pressure like crazy. It can't be healthy. You look like you work out. You shouldn't be doing that. Good God, where's that swelling come from? So when you look at it, you know, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't match that homeostatic model. But now let's say your blood pressure is high because your blood is unhealthy. That makes sense. Unhealthy blood, you're not able to transfer the oxygen, you're not able to transfer the nutrients. So that's the problem. What's insane that they're doing next door, if the blood pressure is high because the blood is inefficient, they lower it. So now you got less pressure of really inefficient blood that leads to acidic conditions. It's like, good God, man.
Are we going to have fights in the hall?
Oh, no, I can kick him. I guarantee, you know. I mean, Dr. DeWitt will back me up, yeah. Well, actually, he'll go in front, knock everybody down, and then I'll just go like this. So when you look at it, the entire system is based on breaking the body down. And it can't work that way. And this is also with like health nuts, okay? And my mom was a health nut. She would make like little shakes in the morning, and this is like in the 60s. But when you look at it, the body doesn't work like this. You can't separate the thyroid. You can't separate the adrenal gland. You can't separate this stuff from anything else. If somebody says they got a liver problem, or they got a spleen problem, or they got cancer of the breast, or they got cancer of the prostate, or none of that stuff is possible. Organ systems don't function separate from anything else. And you'll see this time and time again, but this is completely impossible to look at this. You're not going to have a problem with the respiratory system and have normal blood pressure. You're not going to have that oxygen carbon dioxide transfer and have normal healthy joints or have a healthy immune system. Everything is tied into everything. And so when you break a system up into this psychosis, I mean, none of these guys talk to each other. I mean, the gastroenterologist, good God, that's the most ignorant profession on the planet. Do they teach these guys about nutrition? No. You know, and they still think that reflux or indigestion is from too much acid. How psychotic is that?
Is that changing at all?
Yeah, right here.
No, I mean in our medical schools.
Oh, no. That's... I'm sorry.
This is bound to go on for more years.
No, how long did it take for bloodletting to get out of the population? Okay, 1,000 years. Yeah, we're going to have to wait for a couple of generations or more people to be enlightened. And the tough part is the medical system is the distribution arm for the largest industry in the world. That's what these guys' main goal is. Because does the rheumatologist say, hey, look, you just had a positive RA factor on a blood test and you have pain in one joint, you have rheumatoid arthritis, you're going to die with this, you're probably going to be in a wheelchair in a few years, take this pain reliever and steroid.
And you will.
Okay. You go to the endocrinologist, oh my gosh, I measured your hormones, your cortisol is really high, your thyroid's low, you need this thyroxine, you need this steroid, okay, you need these hormones. You got low T syndrome, oh my gosh, low T syndrome? Does that mean I can't be good to my wife? Yeah, it's not adrenal fatigue. I mean, none of this stuff makes sense. It's psychotic. There's nothing broken in the body. This is all the body adapting to toxicity or deficiency. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But the training in here is to identify a cause. Because remember, it's a homeostatic model where everything's got to be the same. And if it's not, then by gosh, you give them a chemical to bring it down. Because you're a lot smarter than the body. I know it when you say it like that, okay, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And if you were at the seminar next door, it's like, my God, they talk with such authority. Like, yes, they did have a positive rheumatoid arthritis factor, and the best treatment is a corticosteroid, okay, followed by a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory. Of course, that may upset their stomach, and if that is true, then we need to give them a proton pump inhibitor, little purple pill, it'll stave off any problems. However, that's going to cause some mineral deficiencies. Blood's not going to be as healthy, blood pressure is going to go up, so we need to give them a beta blocker and ACE inhibitor, okay. With that type of management, the patient will be pain-free.
13 pills.
Well, the average is 12. And so what we get is a psychosis that these diseases, okay, are not only on the rise, they're going to wipe out most economies. And these diseases are not something you can catch. Chew. Oh my God, I just gave you heart disease. Sorry. You can't do that. You have to earn them. And what that means is that this type of psychosis, that these are actually diseases, and they're not. Here's where if I went over there, they would shout blaspheme and throw me off the boat. You know, because really, you mean heart disease doesn't exist? Okay, well, what does it weigh? What shape is it? What color is it? Can you put it in a box? No. But can clogged arteries, can altered nerve supply, can that be a factor? Absolutely. So these things, they don't really exist. They're the body adapting. Now, if you take, say, a diet high in polyunsaturated fats, that's going to damage the arteries. If you take synthetic foods like, oh, let me see, I don't know.
Container of chemicals
Well, powdered eggs aren't as bad because that's more like, obviously it's going to suck. But, you know, the pink pack or the blue pack in Starbucks, you know, we've got formaldehyde and wood alcohol. You know, I mean, that stuff is not going to be good to the arteries. And so that is going to damage the arteries. The body's going to lay down a protective coating. And I'm just talking heart disease, okay? And that protective coating is going to be calcium, fibrin, and cholesterol, and that's to protect the arteries. Now, that plaquing, we're going to go over a lot when we talk about heart problems, but just if you understand that heart disease thing is not a heart disease, it's a body adapting to a really toxic, deficient environment. And if you have an artery like this and it starts to get smaller, pressure has to go up. And then in psycho world, you think, well, heck, the heart isn't working right, so let's lower the oxygen to the heart. This is why, and you're going to see the data, if you do take a drug for blood pressure, you die earlier. If you do, I mean, it's just like, really? Yeah, because not one of those professions is going to say, man, if you take this beta blocker and diuretic, you're going to live long and healthy. Hell no. I mean, at least they're honest about that. But these diseases are absolutely correctable. When we're going to do a webinar on vaccines. Everybody's going to be invited to it. I don't know where it's going to be because I don't know if we're going to have internet access, but it's going to be fun because we're going to be talking about vaccines. But you're going to find out in fibromyalgia, depression, Alzheimer's, dementia, multiple sclerosis, which isn't up here, Lou Gehrig's disease, that they're finding a weird, rare type of viral fragment, okay, from mouse brains. That's this virus that actually is really, really hard to culture because it denatures inside of blood, that there may be one viral factor in all of those diseases.
Common factor?
Yes.
The Mickey Mouse factor.
Well, don't. You go there, you catch measles. Blasphemer. Okay, but it has to do with, we'll talk about how viruses are attenuated, how they're gone from animal to animal to weaken them, and then, you know, we mix it and inject it in human beings, and what could possibly go wrong? Okay. So when you look at this, I mean, you may have heard idiopathic, like root word idiot, that, you know, we have no clue at what the heck causes it, and that's the main cause of high blood pressure. It's idiopathic. And I had a discussion with this, is actually a relative, a medical doctor for 30 years. And it's like, well, doc, you know, you can correct blood pressure. Well, we know the correction. We give them a beta blocker, an ACE inhibitor, or a diuretic, you know, depending on the need. And then depending on how the body adapts to it. And I said, well, nah, but none of that's fixing the cause. Well, we know the cause, it's idiopathic. And I'm going, good God, this is like a friggin' record. Okay, we know the cause, then he tells me in Latin, the cause is unknown. We know the cause, it's unknown. Wow. Okay, so that entire homeostatic model, it is the leading cause of death. I mean, when you look at heart disease, 20% of heart attacks come from non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, from Advil, Motrin, and Aleve. And there's no heart attack warning on there. But what the journal says, it says, good God, man, don't take this stuff. And then what's worse is those little tiny non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, they destroy joint cartilage. So the reason most people are taking it is it just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so we're going to fix it.
That's why you take it. Your joints hurt. That's why you take it.
What's that record again? So you take that joint thing, it destroys your joint cartilage, so then you take it again. Oh my gosh, you know, in South Central, they got like drug dealers. Would love something like that. It's a brilliant sales model. You know, you take the little purple pill for 24 hours of relief, and then you get the antacid. Okay, because what the purple pill, and this is just kind of fun. A reflux comes from too little acid in the stomach. There's a muscle on top of the stomach that tightens up on the presence of acid in the stomach, and that stops acid from going up into the esophagus. So if I was talented, I'd flip back to that side where everyone's looking at the elephant. Okay, but so you think of this, you got a drug that lowers the acid in the stomach, but that weakens this muscle. So that is going to allow more reflux to go up into it. Okay, so you have to take the drug because it weakens the stomach. Then you have to take a drug because it lowers the acid. Then the problem is, if you do that on a consistent basis, you increase cancer of the esophagus. And it's shown time and time again. And it's just foolishness. Now, All of that was to explain the homeostatic model that people currently think is a healthcare and effective for maintaining, correcting health, and eliminating disease is stupid. Wait, is that mean?
Yeah. Not if it's the truth.
Well, let me go next door and I'll see what they think. Okay. So, your entire model of drugging people to health doesn't work. This is the new, method that's going into science. It's called allostasis. And this is what the doctors of the future are going to do. The allostatic model means the body is constantly changing its status. Cholesterol levels all go up in the wintertime, okay? They're all going to go up under stress, physical, chemical, or emotional stress. Blood pressure is always going to be adaptive, depending on the need. There is no stasis, so the body is constantly changing. In fact, the other one is a hedonistic model, where yes, you can have health without symptoms. That's insane. Okay, in this model, if you get sick, you develop a fever. Why? Because the viruses, funguses, and bacteria die at a higher temperature. Heck, there's a lot of treatments for cancers that if you elevate the body's temperature to 107 degrees, cancer's gone. It turns out the body's intelligent. There is no way that the homeostatic model is appropriate for human beings. This is always adaptive, and this is slowly taking effect. And you'll even see it like Kaiser's a big medical thing down in our area, and they're now saying, we'll allow a child's fever to run its course. Don't give the child Tylenol. And I'm thinking, no kidding, Tylenol destroys the liver, it weakens the immune system response. It's in virtually every Dayquil, NyQuil, whatever the hell quill, okay? And I mean, it's insane to second guess the body. Because for every 1 degree increase in temperature, the speed of the immune system doubles. Good God, man, And that's what I tell parents. I say, if you got a sick kid, put him in a hot bath. They're gonna do better. And well, won't that cause stroke? No, put them in a hot bath. They're gonna be fine. If they get glassy-eyed, you can give them a tepid sponge bath, but man, they'll just recover fine. So, and this has always been going on. These are not diseases. Okay, and I know it sounds like a broken record, but to break belief systems, I mean, to tell you that bloodletting is not good, and people for thousands of years were telling you that. To explain that bacteria and viruses are good. Okay, to explain to the people on a boat passing out the Purell everywhere, okay? And I go in there and I go, no thanks, I got good normal flora, I don't want to screw it up. And they look at me like, what? I want to take them aside and say, no, I've got viruses, I've got bacteria, I've got funguses, all in my hand. I've got this staph epididymis, okay, that's like everywhere, that's protecting me. And they're going, you want some? And then they're going like this, and I'll put it over here and you can get it. But they don't know that we're talking about 10% of our DNA is viral. We've got such a harmonious relationship, it's insane. So doctors are meant to prescribe drugs, of which they know little. So when somebody says this drug is gentler and safer, knowing that Tylenol is the leading cause of liver disease, it has no benefit whatsoever. If they give it to you, it destroys your joint cartilage and weakens your immune system. Benefit? Anyone? No. And what are you taking it for? Pain?
Reduce the population. That's benefit to the government.
Well, are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? Wait, no, that's Scrooge.
Some people say that it reduces therapy.
Well, you can't take a chemical that's toxic in one effect and expect a positive outcome. That just doesn't make any sense. Fish oil is a great pain reliever. Water is a great pain reliever. Finding out why the friggin' body is hurting in the first place is the best. Okay, and doing a solution. It's just, this doesn't make any sense. These are not conditions. If you know depression is a gut issue, okay, or a perception issue. If you understand that the way your brain is wired, you're going to get chemicals flowing down to your body. Emotions are chemicals. And the way your brain is wired, this is absolutely essential. Like if you were walking by, did you see him making the pizza last night, or you smell that baked bread? I mean, it smells just like delicious. Okay, if you're thinking about, if you're thinking about like mom or grandma, however, if you were, captured by a witch and thrown in an oven or hit by a bakery truck, you might smell that, and that's going to be a total different chemical assault on your body. So one emotion is going to create cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline, epinephrine, norepinephrine, and it's going to be like, oh my God, don't hit me with that piece of bread. Okay, it's a bad analogy, but that's all I got. The other one is like, oh my God, grandma, mom, and so what do your cells react from that chemical assault? So it's the emotion that changes the chemical assault on your body. That's why all diseases have some type of emotional aspect. But would you ever give them a drug that increases suicide and suicidal thoughts? There's a disconnect there. It's like, how does this stuff work? Yeah, I'd be okay with that. So there really is a mechanistic, because that's what the entire medical world is. Symptom drug, and there is symptom surgery. There is no appreciation that the body is going to raise and lower their symptoms depending on the need. So the vitalistic concept, and this is, again, if I told this next door, I'd be thrown out of there. The body is intelligent, even though every medical doctor on the planet, learns that the body's self-healing and self-regulating. Then they get the disconnect. Okay, your body's self-healing and self-regulating. However, if the values change from what we think is right, we're going to give you a drug to lower it.
Make it worse.
It doesn't make any sense. And they used to write, disease has a lack of ease. And that's true. That's what it is. It's just the body not in that homeostatic or not in that equilibrium. But the body is always in a lack of equilibrium. Okay, your blood pressure is always going up, your cholesterol is always going up or down, and it depends on whether you eat food, whether you sleep good, whether you hydrate well, and the body is designed to do it. What we do, when we cover the nervous system on the second to last day, you're going to be blown away. But that nervous system, it controls and coordinates every function of the body. And that means hormone production, that means everything. That's why, to get health back, you got to get the nervous system checked. And this is an old chiropractic term, ADIO. Healing only occurs from above, down, inside out. And the universal intelligence, and they're even talking about God, the universal intelligence, that this is not a random act. I came across this when I was doing human dissection, where you just all of a sudden you get this light bulb like, holy shit, it's not just a collection of cells. Because people are under the impression that ears hear, eyes see, stomach digests. And this is an old term, but no, dead people have ears and eyes and stuff, and they don't work right. The thing that animates the tissue is the nervous system. There is a life force. There really is. And if that's not there, the body isn't there. In your stomach, you've got hydrochloric acid that'll burn a hole through any kind of tissue, metal, everything else. How can a cell make something that will destroy itself? Inquiring minds want to know. This is so cool. You got a cell that's in two parts. One part spits out a hydrogen ion, the other one spits out a chloride ion. It forms outside of the cell to hydrochloric acid, and then this way can denature food, denature proteins. Yeah, just a random chance. I don't know, dumb luck. That's impossible. Even the most hardcore Darwinians, you can't make organic out of inorganic. There's something else. Now, this is a belief system. And the tough part is, if you're not understanding that the belief system here, what they're looking at, infertility. Okay, do we need to give them massive amounts of hormone to draw eggs out? Or is there some type of dysfunction there? These are all source of the body expressing the reaction to deficiency or toxicity. And I know that seems weird, Okay, but if somebody comes in there and goes, man, my arthritis, in this leg, it's killing me. And I'll say, really, what's it from? Oh, soccer, man, my right knee is messed up. So really, were you ever injured? No. I'm getting old. Really, how old's the other knee? And you get this pattern interrupt. It's like, well, I guess that sounds stupid, but my doctor told me, and he gave me my Tylenol, and he gave me this, and it's what does pain do to blood pressure? Makes it go up. Okay, I mean, it's just, there's such a cascade of stupid. Okay, I mean, this is a pretty standard example, and I could show you, a dozen different patients. This is the nerve supply to the heart. Okay, at the top of the rib cage area. Here's a guy standing up straight. We're shooting his X-ray, and he's going, "Yeah, I'm fine. I just got, my wife told me to come in for back pain, and you're telling me about blood pressure and cholesterol and diabetes. How would that work?" And of course, if you have type 2 diabetes, is your blood healthy or sick? Sick. It's sick. 95% all diabetics are type 2. This is curable in about 30 to 45 days. I don't mean treatable, I mean curable. I mean, it's like it's not there anymore. It's gone. And that freaks people out because, no, my doctor's managing it. Heck, we don't want to manage it, let's fix it. And I mean, there's a really cool book called Raw for 30 Days. No, it's a YouTube video. Dr. Gabriel Cousin's been curing type 2 diabetes in Arizona for 20 years. Why do they not cure it? But his blood isn't healthy, so his body's adapting by giving it high blood pressure. And do you make him healthy by lowering his blood pressure when it's toxic, sick blood? No. So we just fix it. I mean, it's like, it seems too simple. But when we're doing a physical exam, we say, because people come in with a litany of stuff. Yeah, I've got indigestion, I've got back pain, I've got high blood pressure, I've got diabetes. Okay, good. Do you want to fix it? And it is, because the body is adapting. If you choose to regulate your body's chemistry, let's say you do have type 2 diabetes, okay, and this is, again, it's curable in about 30 to 45 days. The drugs they give you, the metformin, the glucophage, it does lower glucose, guaranteed without a doubt, it really does. The problem is, what does it do to life expectancy? See, insulin levels remain the same. So if you're lucky enough to lower it 9%, you have a 19% increase in death. If you're lucky enough to lower it 14%, you have a 43% increase in death. Now, from the data that I have, only 2 people have recovered from death. one had help. So you start looking at this and you go, well, death is really a bear to recover from. I don't think we should do that. Yeah, so it just doesn't make any sense. So there's always a change in belief systems. And this goes on, this is the allopathetic model, but this could be, say multiple deity, okay, that we come up with an idea that there's a god of the ocean, that there's a god of the sun. In fact, this guy's got this chariot that takes it around the planet, really cool. We can call him Apollo. And we develop an idea. Then we have a rigid belief system where you have to sacrifice a goat, okay, in order to take a ship like this on. Did anyone do that, or was I the only one? Okay, okay, you did a lamb. You're sick. Yeah, goats you don't really like that much. But then you find out that the boat still sank, okay, or that the sun didn't come up, or something. So you have this challenge in belief system, and then you have a new belief system. Well, we're looking at the belief system, knowing that the medical system in this country kills more people than guns. And everybody knows this. If you go up to some of your friends that are taking multiple pharmaceuticals, okay, they're taking the blood pressure, cholesterol, antacid, the pain reliever.
They don't want to be on drugs, only the ones they need.
Only the ones they need, exactly. Ask them. And it's hard to ask one question and get a universal answer. Okay, so if you were left alone on a desert island, all you had was fresh fruit, fresh fish, you get fresh sunlight, you had to swim in the ocean every day, you had no access to pharmaceuticals. Would your health improve or decline? Improve. Everybody says improve. We know, of course we're going to improve. Good God, we don't need any chemicals. But that is where we're getting the challenge. Also, your parents and friends. If you've seen them in an assisted living center, that's criminal. So we're seeing that there's a problem with that allopathetic, changing the physiology with a chemical. It ain't working. Our population isn't healthier. 69 doses of 16 different vaccines in a child today, and we call that vaccinations? Do we have the healthiest kids on the planet? No. Wait till you see what the actual facts behind that are. Oh my God, so now we got an idea, and this is the vitalistic model of healthcare, that the body is self-healing and self-regulating, and the body is always going to be adapting. There's no hedonistic medical system where we're going to control all your symptoms. Yes, you can have a cold, but still function and run through the fields if you take Dayquil. Okay? However, it destroys your liver, okay, weakens your immune system. Don't worry, if your liver gets damaged, your blood pressure is going to go up. We'll give you something there too. We'll give you it's beyond foolishness. So now we're finding out, oh my God, yeah, your blood pressure will go high. Let's say you're speaking before a bunch of people that you really love and you're on a boat and you can't stop but looking out of the window. Your blood pressure will go high. Okay, and then, you find out, oh my God, maybe the body is brilliant. Maybe it really is self-healing and self-regulating. Maybe disease doesn't even exist. Okay, maybe depression and anxiety is a dysfunction of the gut. Maybe headaches are coming from the neck. Maybe joints can regenerate. I mean, when I was talking to this one orthopedic surgeon who came in, reverse curve, his hands are going numb. And if you're an orthopedic surgeon and you got numb hands, it's kind of, no, doc, I'm okay. I'm good on the surgery. You don't need to cut me. And so, I'm telling him, I say, yeah, we got to regenerate your discs. And he got incredulous. It's like, regenerate the discs? Because why? Why do the doctors not see discs regenerated? And I started, because it threw me off. And I said, well, doc, yeah, the discs are alive. Discs are alive. Okay, let's go on your theory. Are discs dead? And he said, well, I never really thought of it. Okay, do you have dead tissue in your body that's mobile? Well, no. And I said, okay, so if a disc is alive, it means it has to take in nutrients, produce proteins, and eliminate waste products. Well, yeah. Okay, now if we can cause inflammation, yeah, dude, that's how the body heals. I wanted to slap him and cut him and elicit an inflammatory response. But I thought, I didn't think my point would be heard. Possibly. Okay, but it would have gotten the point home. But luckily he got under care and we helped him. Inflammation is a healing process. And when we're going to cover that in great detail, but inflammation is a healing process. And I mean, if you've ever been cut, the problem is, have you ever heard of ulcerative colitis? Itis means inflammation. Okay, arthritis, itis means inflammation. And it's just such a disconnect to think that inflammation is bad when it's actually a response to tissue damage and your body's regenerating tissue. It's like the coolest thing ever. So this is where we're at now. We're actually looking at this new idea and respecting the body, which is a concept that's completely off next door. So let's look at, and this is the cool part. Okay, so I told you how messed up it is, how scientists are actually bringing this into the new world, into this vitalistic concept, but it's not in the medical system yet. Okay, so I'm gonna like share cool stuff. Okay, cancer screening has never been shown to save lives. What can we do about it? British Medical Journal. You think, well, wait a second. Shouldn't we get our mammograms? Shouldn't we get a little sample of the prostate? Okay, every guy in here went like that. No! Okay, and it's interesting. Harms of screenings are certain, but the benefits of mortality are not. And I love this, the American Cancer Society. We must be honest about what we know, what we don't know, and what we simply believe. It's a belief system. Cancer is not a disease. It's an adaptation to toxicity or deficiency. There is no such thing as breast cancer. Breast cancer is a defect of your body to fight cancer. Your body produces 10,000 cancer cells a day. Your adrenal glands produce $40,000 worth of interferon a day. So what are you going to do? Look at the cancer or look at the weakened immune system? I mean, this is what the new annual physical. Okay, and I'd love to share this data over there. New England Journal of Medicine. If you utilize medical care for health, you should not go unless you have symptoms. If you go for a physical to have them check your health out, there's an inverse relationship of money you spend in that system and health. Okay, in English, you go to a medical doctor, the more money you spend, the sicker you're going to be. According to the New England Medical Journal, they're saying, good God, man, don't utilize our services. We're going to kill you. I'm just thinking, can you imagine a contractor? Don't hire me to build a house because it's going to fall down and it's going to kill somebody. Don't hire me to work on you because it can result in a battery of unnecessary tests. It's ineffective at preventing disease. And you're seeing this in the medical journal. And it's like, well, wait a second. So the cancer screenings are complete bull. This stuff, and I like this one, Alan Grower. He's in favor of the annual physical, okay? But they want to replace the traditional fee for service with a payment schedule that takes into account patient outcomes. So that means, hi, your blood pressure's high, I'm going to give you the beta blocker, the diuretic, or the ACE inhibitor, but now I'm going to be responsible. So if you develop cancer, brain damage, or leukemia, or liver damage, or kidney damage, or gastrointestinal problems from this drug I'm giving you, then I'm going to give you another drug. Wait, no, that's not being responsible for patient outcomes, is it? No, that's the current system. See, there's a disconnect. He doesn't know how they're going to get paid if they can't do their services. We just know their services are not effective in helping people. I know, it's kind of an out there concept, particularly when a medical system says that you shouldn't be doing this. Now, these are some of the list out of the Journal of the American Medical Association, another journal, and this is like really far ago, like way back 4 months. and you look at it, these are some of the practices. Why is there so many thyroids being ripped out? Because they're misdiagnosed as thyroid cancer. Why is this stuff going on? Acetaminophen for back pain. Of course, they're saying that you shouldn't use Tylenol for pain. Why? Because the outcome isn't good. And these are medical practices that should be questioned. And I love this conclusion. Many common medical practices should be reconsidered, leading to questions of their non-evidence-based practices. If you go to the medical system and they say, yes, you have high blood pressure, for every 5 millimeters of mercury increase in this blood pressure, your risk of stroke increases 4-fold. Does that sound like he's based in science? Yeah, that's totally non-evidence-based. In fact, we find people with higher blood pressure live longer. So non-evidence-based, even though they're talking like it's fact, it's not fact. It's inconsistent. Now we do have a problem, okay? Elephants live like 40 to 60 years. Okay, giraffes die off at about 20, 25 years. It turns out that an elephant's blood pressure is considerably lower than a giraffe. In fact, and I didn't want to explain this or share this with you, but a giraffe has the highest blood pressure of the animal kingdom. So we've developed a program where we're going to help save the giraffe. Okay, we're going to lower their blood pressure. However, we tried that, but every time they stood up to eat off the trees, they passed out. Okay, so we developed these genetically modified bushes so they could lay on their ground and still eat, and their blood pressures are low. However, the outcome wasn't what we expected. They tend to die early, but they do have lower blood pressure. Okay, now you're thinking, this is psychotic. Come on, this is like a comedy. Okay, we do have human beings, and if we chemically alter their physiology, they actually die earlier. It just doesn't make any sense. We've got, and I was talking to this one Orange County housewife, and she's like, super, super wealthy. And she's got 3 daughters, okay? One of them's on antidepressants and in college. The other one has some type of weird skin disorder, and the third one has depression and asthma. And she was concerned about the Ebola crisis. Okay. We're in Orange County, California. She's obscure about hemorrhagic fever in Africa that wasn't even actually happening. Okay, what do you see what we're talking about? We're going to talk about the Zika virus first week. Oh boy, that's a good one. We're going to pop that Zika. So when you look at it, it was such a disconnect. And I said, well, do we have the healthiest kids on the planet or the sickest? And she goes, the healthiest. And I go, good God, you really think your kids are healthy? Because it's normal now. God, they've got autistic kids on Sesame Street. This one here, chronic illness. And it turns out heavy use of pharmaceuticals, including lower diagnostic treatment thresholds, and the prescribing cascade where more medications are prescribed to control the effects of already prescribed medications. They're saying this is not a good system. See, what you're seeing here is the breakdown of that belief system in the medical journals that are saying, good God, don't utilize our care, don't take our drugs, the outcome is not good. Okay, do you see this? So it's not, when somebody says, well, I'm going along with you for some of the things, but some of the other things I don't go along with because my medical doctor's really trying to treat me good. It's kind of like the swine flu's on its way. Everybody should get their shot. The swine flu's on its way. And then we see the people that got the swindle flu shot were swine flu, okay, I'm sorry, pattern interrupt. Okay, that they had an increase in disease, then it wiped out other people, but it's all fear-based. No, bird flu. No, that's coming on. You got to be careful. You got to get the bird flu shot. Okay, because, the way Bush said, we got the bird to bird, that's not a problem, but when bird to human, that's still not a problem. But human to human, that's a problem, so we got to get the shot. Okay, it's like, dude, you're a mental midget. And so when we look at this, this is going back to 2002, but this is how the science is going. They're saying the pharmaceutical industry is selling sickness. Okay, they're selling a hedonistic medical system. By God, if you're sneezing and coughing, it's not an allergy. It's a normal response it's an abnormal response to foreign proteins. So you strengthen your immune system, you don't have it. Allergies go away. I mean, they go away quick. And so, if you've been diagnosed, and I was giving this talk in Toronto, and if you've been diagnosed with breast cancer, okay, and it happened to be ductal carcinoma in situ, it's no longer considered cancer. And so this means 1.3 million women had their breasts cut off, okay, and they said, whoops, okay, we screwed up. And this gal, she had one of her breasts lopped off, and then she was going to go have another one cut off, and she happened to be at the talk. And she said, it is ductal carcinoma in situ. And I said, well, you don't need it cut off. It's not going to harm you. It's going to go away. There's not a problem. How many prostates were ripped out because, they misdiagnosed high-grade prostatic intraepithelial neoplasm? Good God, that name scares me. I can barely pronounce it. But when you look at this and you're trying to explain what that is, yes, you have high-grade prostatic intraepithelial neoplasm. It's like, oh my God, am I going to die? Well, you could die, we don't know, but we're going to remove the prostate. Of course, you're going to have sexual dysfunction, bowel and bladder problems, but you're more likely going to live. And now you've had your prostate ripped out, you can't play with your sweetheart, and now it's considered benign? I mean, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So now this is going to freak you out. And this is where the science is going. Remember I talked about your body being more energy than matter? That from above down, inside out, your body heals? That there's an energy about your body? This guy develops this idea. They inject a group of mice, okay, with something guaranteed to kill them. We're talking 100% fatality rate between 14 and 27 days. Guaranteed they're all going to die, okay? He holds them for about an hour, okay? And I don't know what he's thinking, good thoughts or whatever. 100% of the mice live. So they think, wow, this guy's like special. He's like cool. Okay, then his assistant does it. And 100% of the mice live. And they think, wow, his assistant's cool too. Then they give it to a group of students and they say, look, this is a test for gullibility. I want you to hold this mouse for an hour a day for a month. Okay. All their mice lived. And so it has to do, and I love this. I think I got this one. Yeah. Our initial hope was that we might get a significant difference in survival between the experimental and the animal controls. Remission wasn't seriously considered. We may conclude that we are apparently able to cure mammary adenocarcinoma in experimental mice on demand. So can we do that to humans? Yeah. Yeah. What's an emotion? An emotion is a chemical secreted by your brain based on your perception. Your perception, that's what's happening to you. You know, if your sweetheart's yelling at you, she really loves me.
Good perception.
I'm still digging her. Yeah. Yeah. Or, you know, because that's the way your brain's wired. So you look at this. So our perception of the environment changes the chemical cascade and changes our expression of life. Because that's what disease is. It's a lack of ease. It doesn't really exist. We were raised with this model. And you know that this is a collection of tissues in front of you, and that those are a collection of organ systems, collections of cells, collection of organelles and molecules and atoms. And now we go, it's quarks. And quarks just blink in and out of energy. They're not like real. You can't see it. So this is actually the fact. So when on that model where belief systems are starting to change, okay, we're looking at this. This is the change. You are more energy than matter. So your perception and how your body views the environment is everything. There isn't anything else. This is totally different. And I know it's a tough concept, particularly if those of you that utilize medical care. But I'm sorry, what do the medical journals say? Don't. If you're taking drugs, you shouldn't. It's bad for you. You know, and I know this is the science doesn't support altering your physiology with a chemical. So we're in this state now. And so that's what we're going to be talking about this whole cruise, is how the body works. Okay, does that make sense?